Hi everyone, this is Lori from Kid Made Modern. We're so excited to be here with Michaels and Tessa from Shop Studio Jane to do a fun fall craft with you all today. Tessa, go ahead.
Hi everyone. Yes, thank you for having me back. I'm so excited to craft with you guys today. We are going to be making these fun little fall icon collages. So this is a little pumpkin or a little fall leaf. You can make any little icon that you want, maybe an acorn or a different style leaf, a turkey, anything that you want to make. We're going to go through all the steps with you to how to make these fun little pumpkins today. And they're on little round circle cutouts of construction paper. So we're going to go through all the supply list first. So first thing is definitely you need some construction paper for the backing of your little collage. Again, I'm just using a sheet of construction paper, but you can also use a paper plate or cardboard, anything like that will work. Again, any color you want. I have a couple other fall colors here that I pulled, so we'll use a different color today. And then we're going to be using a pen or a pencil to draw our pumpkin shapes. And you can draw, again, any shape that you want. So I'm just going to be using a black marker so you guys can see that, but a pencil or a crayon will work just fine. And then we're going to be filling it in full of pom-poms. So I've got all sorts of colors of pom-poms here, orange and yellow and red, all fall colors. And then some wooden beads as well. So I've got a whole assortment of little wooden beads. And all of these fun supplies of pom-poms and beads all come from our Kid Made Modern Arts and Crafts library. So it's got tons of different colors, different sizes of pom-poms, from big sparkly ones to little tiny ones. So we're going to use a collection of these different elements to fill in our pumpkin shapes. And then I'm going to be using some glue dots. I just have like a roll of glue dots here that you can get at Michael's. You can use hot glue if you're crafting with an adult today as well, or you can use just like our Kid Made Modern white glue or a tacky glue will work. When you're working with a white glue, sometimes pom-poms take a long time to dry or to stick. So those might be a little bit harder, but they'll definitely work on things like wooden beads or paper or something like that. And then lastly, to make our little circular shapes, we are going to be using a round bowl. So I just grabbed a little bowl from my kitchen to trace. So any circular objects will work to trace it, and then a pair of scissors to cut our little circle out. So I think that's all of our supplies that we went through. So let me know if you guys have any questions on any items. I'm not sure what you need. If you feel like you need a replacement, we can come up with some ideas. We want to hear what you guys think as well. So I'm going to flip my camera around and we'll get started.
Everyone, just a reminder, if you have any questions or anything you want to share, please put it in the Q&As. I'll be moderating the session so I can ask Tessa the questions for you.
Perfect. Thanks, Lori. Okay, so to start here, I have just some construction paper. Again, you can use any color that you might want. I've got some orange, red, or this little brown color. So I'm going to take my sheet of construction paper and my bowl. I'm going to flip my bowl upside down on top of my paper. Again, if you don't have a bowl, you can definitely use another item that's circular if you want yours to be a circle shape. It also doesn't have to be circle, so you can easily do the same collage on a larger piece of paper and just do it right in the middle, or just use scissors to cut another shape out of paper if you don't want to do a circle. So if you are going to do a circle with me, then again, just flip my bowl over, and then I'm going to take my marker and trace along the edge of my bowl. So when I remove my bowl, I've got my circle outline here. And then we're going to take our scissors and cut this out. I'm just cutting right along the black line that I drew. And again, you can definitely use something like a paper plate for this, and it's already round if you don't want to cut it smaller. I like doing this smaller size, and you can make a bunch of them to make a whole little wall of them, or punch a hole in the top and you can make a garland with them. But you can make your little collage as big or as small as you want. So You can definitely, yeah.
As you're cutting, somebody asked if they don't have orange pom-poms, what should they do?
Yeah, if you don't have orange pom-poms, well, one, you don't have to make a pumpkin today. So we have this little pumpkin here, but you can also do a little leaf shape, like this little fall leaf shape. And this has all sorts of different colors of pom-poms in it, or you can make your pumpkin a bunch of different colors. So it'll still look like a pumpkin, even if it is in different colors, it's still going to be a pumpkin shape. So if you're just missing the right colors, you can definitely still do the same fall shapes, just different color combos, or you can definitely do a similar collage style without pom-poms. So maybe you have lots of different papers, or you have felt, and you can cut those into small little circles or little squares and still fill up your shape with something like that instead. And as you can see here, there's a combination of pom-poms and little wooden beads. So you could also just do beads if you don't have pom-poms. Buttons would work. You could cut fuzzy sticks down into small little pieces. So especially if you guys are using your Kid Made Modern Arts and Crafts library today, if you've used all of your orange pom-poms out of there, you probably have a ton of other materials that would still work. So yeah, it doesn't have to look exactly the same. Okay, so now that we've cut out our circle here in our little brown construction paper, we are going to draw a pumpkin. So again, now's the time you can draw any shape you want. Maybe you don't even want to think about fall yet, and it's still hot where you are, and you want to draw something totally different. You can do the same technique by drawing a heart or a star or anything you want. But to draw a pumpkin, I'm going to start with a stem at the top. So I'm drawing a little curved line. So I have a little stem shape, and then basically drawing kind of just an oval along the bottom here. And you don't have to worry about these lines being perfect, as we're going to cover them all up. But there is a little pumpkin shape. So that's a very simple pumpkin, of course, but again, as we're going to cover all this up, you won't even notice the lines. So if you feel like you messed up on yours, don't worry, we're going to cover it up. Or you can always flip your circle over and draw another one. Again, you can draw a little leaf shape if you want, any leaf shape, even a simple leaf shape. I can show you something like this. Is also really cute, and you could fill that with all sorts of fun fall colors, or you can do a little acorn shape. You can do a squash or a skeleton if you want to go more Halloween. So definitely get creative. If you guys have any ideas of what you're drawing today, if you're not making a pumpkin, then tell us in the Q&A. We'd love to hear. Okay.
Joshua said his construction paper was a little hard to cut, so he asked if we repeat, but we'll be doing several different shapes. As you can see, she's going to do a pumpkin, and then she's going to do a different shape as well. So you'll get to see us repeat different ideas.
Absolutely. And I can do another shape now, so we can go through those first steps, and then we can decorate both of our little shapes together. So again, if you are making multiple with us today, or you are still cutting out your circle, then we'll just go ahead and do this one more time. So again, I'm going to trace my bowl onto my construction paper, leaving a circle that's, my circles are about 5 inches or so wide, but again, you can make yours any size you want. And then just going to cut these out. I'm cutting it right along the edge of my black line. I usually try to cut right along the inside edge, so it cuts away any extra marks. But you can always flip your paper over if you want to. Or if you're using a pencil today, then you can just erase any lines that are left over. Okay, trim this little edge off. So now they've got another little circle here, a little orange circle, and you can draw again any shape that you want. We have one pumpkin here, and so we'll also do a little leaf. You can do a fall leaf shape like this one here, or I'm going to do like the other style that I showed you guys. And I'm just kind of doing 2 curved lines that with a point at the top. So again, just slowly curve and then go in toward the top, and then do the same on the other side to make a little pointed leaf shape. I'm going to bring in my 2 edges at the bottom and then add a little stem. So again, this is a really simple little leaf shape that's cute, and you could do all different style leaves. You can go find a leaf outside if you want to trace one, or you can draw any shape that you want. So now we've got a couple different little circles here with our little templates drawn on there. And from here, we're going to start gluing all of our pom-poms and beads into it. So we're going to start with our little pumpkin here. And again, I'm using glue dots for the majority of it today, just since these guys work really great on pom-poms. If you aren't familiar with glue dots, they are mess free. You can kind of see the little shiny dot on this paper. It's a little hard to see on the camera, but there's little tiny shiny dots on here that are little adhesive dots. So they're, again, no mess, and they stick well with things like felt or pom-poms or wooden beads. If you are using any other glue today, just take your time with gluing it. It might take a little longer for your pom-poms to dry. So I'm just going to take a pom-pom and press it right into the glue dot and pull it off. So now you can kind of see that little shiny dot on the bottom of my pom-pom. And I'm going to just stick it right along the edge. So you can see I kind of am overlapping the edge of my drawing. That way I know that I'm covering up the line of it, and it will give me a little bit more of a fun little border or an edge like this one here. You can see kind of looks a little bit more natural as a pumpkin that's not perfectly round either. And I'm going to just take some more pom-poms here. And I'm using 1 glue dot per pom-pom. And going to start sticking them one by one next to each other. You can use all different sizes as well. I'm going to kind of do the edge of my pumpkin first, and then we'll work our way into the middle. And again, if you don't have pom-poms today, you can use a different element. We're going to add in some little orange beads too. So you can do beads, you can do buttons, fabric scraps, or you can even just use more paper. Anything like that will definitely work. And I'm using all different size beads too, like these little ones that are longer instead. I'm just continuing to add in along the whole border first. I do the border first, that way you know you have your shape set before you start filling it in. Sometimes if you start filling in the middle and then you get to the edge and you've run out of room, this way you know that you're going to get the shape right first. And if you guys are making something different, yeah, definitely put it in the Q&A. I'd love to know if you're not making a pumpkin, what you are making, or maybe you're making a pumpkin that isn't orange. Maybe what color is your pumpkin or your fall item today? So as I fill all these in, you'll start to see this coming to life, and it will start to look three-dimensional, which is really fun. Again, all these little, these can just be individual artwork. You can also, and just hang them on the wall or set them up against on your dresser or somewhere in your room. But you can also punch a hole in the top of these when you're done, and you can string them on a garland or write a nice little note and send them as a card. So there's a lot of options, which is kind of fun when you make some of these smaller crafts, then you can add multiple things together. So you can see starting to all fill in. And again, yeah, if you guys are using hot glue today, which if you guys have taken a class with us, you know that I'm always a fan of hot glue. And I would just do one little drop of hot glue or one little drop of white craft glue and press each little pom-pom or bead into it. I'm just filling this in a little bit more here. And I'm not going to fill in the very top portion here, our little stem. We'll add in some green beads at the top there. So I'm just going to go right along the bottom portion of this stem to fill in my whole oval first. You could also use brown wooden beads like these ones have here that are cute too. You could do brown beads or brown pom-poms as a stem if you don't have green, or you can color it in instead. Especially with the collages, that's what's always fun about them, is that you really can't go wrong. Mixing and matching all different materials is one of my favorite things. You could even cut orange things out of magazines to fill in instead of using these. Yours might be a little bit flatter if you're using felt or paper instead, but it will still be a collage nonetheless. Okay, so now that we filled in our whole border here, we can fill in the middle. So I'm gonna take a couple of these bigger pom-poms now. And again, should just need one little glue dot per, and press that in. And then you can always overlap a little bit too. You can add in layers with some smaller elements. So we'll try that too. Look how fast we are starting to fill that up. See, once you get your whole little border all set there, that it comes together really fast at the end to fill it all up. And you'll have all these little pockets here. So I'm going to take a smaller little element like that little bead and push it right down in the middle. And then once we fill in this, then we'll go back over and we can overlap some different areas to fill in any extra little bits that you can see. And basically, if you're overlapping, we're going to do the same thing using one glue dot per item. And it's really easy to just add a little bead right on top of a pom-pom or another bead. They usually stick together really easily. Okay, so now that we have the majority of our pumpkin all filled in, then I'm going to take some smaller pieces, like a smaller wooden bead here. And again, just putting a glue dot on it. And I'm going to stick it right on top. And instead of sticking it to the paper at the bottom, it's sticking to the bead below it. So now that adds a little bit more depth and dimension. You can see that this guy's a little bit taller than the one below it, but still finishes it off nicely. And it's fun. So we're going to do that with a couple different ones. Again, I'm just picking out the orange beads here, but you can mix and match. Even a lot of pumpkins have brown and green and yellow bits on them. Some of my favorite pumpkins are those funky ones. I think they're called Cinderella pumpkins, that they look like fairy tale pumpkin with all sorts of fun colors and lines on them. So yours can look a little different than just a standard orange pumpkin. All right, so now that we've filled in pretty much all of our gaps here, if you want to add any extra little bits, I'm going to take a couple more smaller beads here. And I'm going to add one kind of right in the middle of all these pom-poms just to add a different shape and break it up a little bit. And I think we'll stick one more on here. That's the thing with collaging, you're kind of layering all these pieces together so you can build yours up as much as you want, or again, it might be flatter, but you can overlap with all different elements. Okay, so next we're going to fill in our little stem here at the top. And to do that, we're going to use little green beads here. So we're going to do the same thing like we did with the pumpkin portion and just start filling in this edge. Since it's not as big as the pumpkin, probably don't need to really fill it in. We'll just kind of do a couple little layers next to one another that will fill it in enough. And on my little beads, I'm putting the glue dots on the side rather than the hole, just so that when you put it down on your paper, it's solid. If you put it on the whole side, the little hole will show, which is cute as well. So you can do it either way. I'm just choosing to do it that way, but you can show the little hole of the bead also. Or you can do some going both directions and mix and match. Okay, and there we have.
Hi everyone, just a reminder that we don't have your volume. So if you could add anything in the Q&A, if you have any questions, that would be awesome.
Yes, definitely put those in the Q&A. We'd love to answer any questions we can. But there you go. We've got this whole little pumpkin icon all collage together. And it's a fun and quick craft to put together. So you can make these in a ton of different styles for different holidays, even obviously as we are in September now. And I'm excited about fall is coming and hopefully it's getting a little bit cooler. The weather is, it's just a fun little element to add around the house to get excited about the new season. So we're going to make a little leaf one next, but again, you can make any style or any element that you want today. All right, so to do our little leaf is we already cut out our paper to start with. Again, if you are catching up or you want to make another one, we just went ahead and traced our little bowl. So just have a bowl from the kitchen. And you're going to flip this over and trace it onto your construction paper or your cardboard or a paper plate, a paper bag, anything will work like that. And then just go ahead and cut your circle out. So now we drew a little leaf shape. And I think putting them all together is kind of fun. They look cute as a group. So you can mix and match all different styles. But to do this, since the leaves are, you can do all green if you want, but I'm envisioning fall leaves and as the colors start to change in the trees. So I'm going to do a mixture of all these different colors. So we've got yellow and red and green and orange, probably even add in a few brown beads too. So this be kind of a fun collection of colors for the fall season. And we're going to do the same steps. So again, if you are still working at the beginning phases, don't worry about getting multiple icons done. Maybe you're just going to have time to do one together today, and then you can keep making more. But yeah, so we're going to do the same steps. You can catch up as well if you are just joining us or missed the beginning. So got my little leaf shape here. And again, I'm just using my glue dots. And I'm going to take a glue dot, put it right on the back of my pom-pom. And I'm going to push it onto my paper along the edge of my line. You can do.
Hey, Tessa, we have a few comments if you want me to share.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Awesome. Ida, she says that her 4 kids are enjoying this immensely. That's so nice of her. Thank you so much. And that her daughter name is Tessa. So she wants to say she loves the teacher's name.
Oh, thank you. I know I don't meet very many Tessas, so you picked a good name.
For sure. And then Gail said this would be a great door hanger too. That is an awesome idea.
That is super cute idea. Yeah, I mean, this would be cute to hang on a door. You could even hang it off of a doorknob since it's smaller. You could do all sorts of fun little tricks with it.
Can we go through a couple of other, I know you've used beads and pom-poms, and Joshua, Noah is out of pom-poms right now. So a couple of other materials that they could possibly use to make a collage.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could definitely use buttons. If you have buttons, you can use paper. So if you don't have pom-poms, you could just use paper, and you could cut small circles. So I'm just cutting a small circle to kind of show you guys real quick here. So you could cut little circles in paper instead. So they'd kind of look like pom-poms, but you could cut lots of little circles in different color paper, or you could draw little patterns on here, or color in just regular printer paper, computer paper. You could use markers or colored pencils to color it in all different colors. So you could do little paper dots. You could do felt dots or felt squares. Fuzzy sticks or pipe cleaners are always great too. They're really textural like a pom-pom. But they're obviously not round. So you could cut them into small shapes, or you could coil them together and make them into little balls too. What else could you use? You could go and collect some things outside. So maybe you want to fill your leaf or your pumpkin with pieces of leaves or twigs from outside. That could be a fun little nature experiment too. So I think you definitely pick and choose as many elements as you want, but yours will just look a little bit different. And that's why then you should share it or have your parents share it online for us. We'd love to see what versions you guys made if you use different materials. So I know that's like a huge list of things, but I think that that's the fun part about these kind of crafts is that there's no one way to do it. Obviously, I'm using a pared down supply list today, but again, you don't have to. You can make as many or as few materials as you want. And you can also just draw shapes and color them in. So if you don't have any of the supplies that we've listed today, and you still feel like, well, no, what do I do? Then just draw some fun little shapes. You could draw leaves and all different style leaves. You could draw pumpkins in different sizes. And then you can just color them in with crayons or paint, anything like that as well. Okay, so for this little leaf here, again, we're just go ahead and gluing all of our little elements along the edge first, and then we'll start filling it in. And yeah, these, if you feel like you want to make yours with pom-poms and you don't have those today, I know as some of you said, then you can always just watch and do this a little bit later. Maybe save this craft for something to do for Christmas or winter, and you can draw little snowflakes or trees instead, and you could do that when you do have some pom-poms in your craft supplies. That's what, once I learn how to do one of these projects, then it's always kind of in the back of my mind of when can I use that next? And you can do the same techniques, learning how to, draw these little circles or fill in a shape with different elements, but then you can easily change it up for whatever season you're doing. And you kind of see that little shiny dot on the back there, little glue dot. And really quick and easy. And I'm just mixing and matching on this one. So not really going in any pattern with my colors. I'm just picking different ones as I go. And you can do a pattern if you want to do every other color. Anything like that is fun too. But I'm just doing a whole mix of colors to kind of just represent fall as a whole. So just making sure that the top there goes all the way to the top of my line. And sometimes if you're using glue dots, they kind of gum up together. I don't know if you can really see that. It's like a little ball instead of it's not quite so flat. And that's okay. If yours are doing that sometimes, they'll still work. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat. All right, so we got our perimeter or the whole edge of our drawing all covered. We are going to then fill in the center. So just continue doing the same little technique here of one little dot of glue or one glue dot per item, and then filling it in. Bigger orange pom-pom. And on all these guys, again, if you are having trouble, if you're using liquid glue today and yours are taking a little longer to dry, or having trouble with some of the pom-poms sticking, I would just hold each one down for a little while. Sometimes it can take a while for the glue to kind of start to adhere to the pom-pom. Since these pom-poms are felt, they are like made of like a fabric that they have to absorb some of the glue first. So it takes a little longer. So just keep that in mind if you are using just regular white glue or tacky glue, anything like that. It will stick. It just, you have to be patient with it. And then once you're done, I would just leave it be and set it aside. And I would hang it up or move it to its new decorative spot a little bit later. Let's do a little wood one in there. Again, I'm just going to kind of push these down in between pom-poms to fill in any gaps. See, now that guy's all pretty much filled. And then from there, you can add in some extra details if you want to. So I'm going to add a couple extra overlapping just to make sure that there's no paper showing through. You can kind of see in here, as you look closer, there's a little bit of a gap in between these, since this pom-pom's a little bit big, but there's a little bit of a gap in between there. So I'm just going to take a little bead and just kind of push it right on top. So instead of it being down lower, it's going to sit on top, attached to the bead below it rather than the paper. And that's going to cover up that little hole, as well as add a little bit of height. And then I'm just going to do that in a couple other spots. And if you are using some smaller beads like this, sometimes I just kind of fold the little glue dot onto itself to hide it. And then it can sit right on top there. Do a couple more here, maybe a little orange bead. And if the glue dots are sticking to you as well, sometimes they do. The good thing is they usually like to stick to things like paper or beads more so than you. So just press it down onto the bead or onto some scratch paper if you get a glue dot stuck to your finger, and it will come right off. Okay, so now that we have filled in this cute little fall leaf in all of our favorite fall colors, I don't know about you guys, but I always gravitate toward green, but lately I've been liking orange, and these orange pom-poms are getting me excited about fall and Halloween. So I'm excited that we've got some other fall crafts coming up this season as well. So we'll be able to use all of our orange and fall colored supplies. Okay, so now I'm just going to fill in my little stem. And you can do different colors if you want. I'm going to fill it in with little bits of green. You could also just continue it in all the same colors that you've been working with. And you can do pom-poms as well for the stem. I'm just using all wooden beads for the stem since I like this darker green color, and I don't have pom-poms that are that color, but maybe you do. Okay, almost finished with this. Add one more little square bead here. And I'm just going to kind of zhuzh or push my little stems around just to make sure that they fill in nicely. And just like that, you now have a cute little leaf or a little pumpkin. Maybe you made both with me, or maybe you made something entirely different, which I hope that you did, and that you guys are coming up with some fun ways to get creative with learning a new technique, but making it your own. That's always my favorite part about crafting with you guys. I get to learn something from you as well. And there you have it, our fun little icons. You can, again, this can be artwork all on its own. You can hang it on the wall. You could use a hole punch and punch a little hole in the top to hang it on the door, as someone suggested, which was so smart. Or you can make a whole bunch of them and string them all together to make a whole little wall garland. Or again, write a note on the back, send it to grandparent or a friend, wish them happy fall as we are almost in official spooky season. And we, as I mentioned, are going to be back soon with some more fall crafts. So next we're going to be making this fun felt fall wreath. Speaking of door hangers or things to hang on the door for the season, this fun little fall wreath is what we're going to be making in a couple of weeks when we'll be back. So I'm so glad that you guys crafted with us today. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed, and happy fall. Thanks, guys.